Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. Jan Michael here, coming at you from the Toronto International Film Festival. Just fucking with you guys. I've been seeing so many videos start off with that it's now become ingrained in my mind. But no, I'm not there. As of the time of this recording, the festivals are actually done. We have the TIFFs, choice winners, like all of that. I know what's going on. It's been a roller coaster of emotions. I almost made a pre-video just talking about everything that I've been hearing that has excited me, that's disappointed me, because I think this year, out of any other, I've been seeing huge kind of swings back and forth of what people think about all the different movies. Like a movie will premiere, it'll get either really great buzz or really bad buzz, and then you're like, oh, well, I guess that's how that's gonna turn out, only for the next viewings to show, and all of a sudden it swings the other way, and now people are like, no, it's actually really good, or no, it's actually really bad. And I don't know what to think. So, yeah, it's been crazy. These predictions that I'm about to go over, definitely take them with some grain of salt because I'm still kind of picking through a lot of the information, but I'm excited to share this with you. As you can tell, I am in a brand new space. Can't be as loud as I was beforehand. I am going to be transitioning to a new spot sometime in the future, but for the time being, this is the format we're going to be using. But enough about that. We got some predictions to go over. So let's do it. These are my Oscar predictions for September of 2024. For those unfamiliar with how I do my format, here you're going to see 9 picks with a 10th mystery spot. A lot of the categories will have 4 picks with the 5th mystery spot. And that's because when I reveal that 5th spot, it's going to be something that seems a little bit far-fetched. If it's a movie that's already released, it is because I really enjoyed it and would love to see it as part of the lineup. Or if it's something that's not released, it's because it's something I'm really looking forward to that I think would be awesome if it blew us away and made it into the Oscars. These picks aren't meant to be taken 100% seriously. They're just, wouldn't it be awesome if that got in as part of the lineup? So I'm sure some of you are going, well, just put your 10 and then make an aside. That's easy enough. And no, I don't want to do that. I want to actually include it as part of the package because it'd be awesome to see it as part of the lineup. But take that how you will. If you want a straightforward list, go to anybody else's channel. They're doing that. But here, I want to have fun. So number one thing you're probably going to notice right away is I don't have the Life of Chuck in here. I'm breaking my own rule already, but if I were to include Life of Chuck, it probably would be at number 10 as of right now, just because I've been hearing a lot of mixed reactions. Yes, it does have that very passionate following, but I think enough of a mixed reaction that makes me pause. And I was the champion last year of when American Fiction won People's Choice, that I was like, nah, that's definitely getting in. I can see it getting in here. I can see it getting in here. And I don't see that same trajectory for Life of Chuck. As of the time of this recording, it doesn't even have a distributor, so maybe it gets pushed back to next year and maybe it has a better chance of getting in then. As of right now, I think maybe it can squeeze in, but I just don't see a lot of categories it can get into. So if I were to include it in my 10, it probably would be at number 10. So take that for what you will. I'll talk about some of the other categories it could potentially get into, but even if I did include it in any of those other ones, it would end up taking that final spot. So you're really not going to see it in any of these predictions. So there's that for you. A couple of other things that you'll notice are not here. Blitz, I'm still not 100% convinced. You're really not going to see Blitz anywhere on my predictions. We did just get confirmation that Juror number 2 is going to be coming out this year, which I'm very much looking forward to. I think the synopsis sounds very intriguing, but with the history that Clint Eastwood has had recently anyway, I'm not 100% convinced it will be an Oscar contender. Like, I hope I'm wrong, but that's just kind of what I'm thinking. Very much looking forward to seeing it. It's not going to be on my predictions because of that track record as of right now. So that's what you got. What I do have at number 1 is the one that most people were fucking raving about. Like, people were already excited to go see The Brutalist before the awards, before the festivals even started. But afterwards, everybody was just singing its praises. It's like a 3.5-hour film. Some people were hesitant because of that running time. Didn't matter. People were loving this. It was getting like perfect score. Some people were calling it a masterpiece. Even those that didn't think it was a masterpiece were still scoring it really high. And I'm now very, very excited to see it. Probably rocketed up to either my most anticipated or maybe second most anticipated, just because, damn, you hear that sort of buzz and that's the thing that gets you excited. And it can get into so many categories. I've seen so many people talk about everything that it can get into. Trust me, you're going to be seeing The Brutalist everywhere, and maybe it can go on to win. The feedback I've been hearing is of the feedback that could make it a Best Picture winner. So I'm excited for it. That's what's at number one right now. Anora, this one did win, I believe, runner-up or third place at TIFF. So yes, people really like it. Sean Baker's finally having a moment. I would love to see him finally get into the Oscars. I think the Florida Project for Willem Dafoe is really the only time any work of his has been recognized by the Academy. So I think this is finally his moment. I think he's in a very good spot to, I don't know, maybe even win Best Picture. Who knows? This could be the one that goes all the way. I'm actually feeling pretty confident with a lot of these picks getting in. Sing Sing, I finally got to see it. Fucking excellent film. They really need to put that into like every theater right away, just because I think it's a crime to kind of hold it back as they've been doing. So I know there's people that still have not been able to see it because it's not reached the theater that they're at yet. So I don't think this plan of theirs, like putting it out very slowly, is working at all. I hope it doesn't get buried, just because I do think it's excellent, and I do think people need to see it. But I do think it'll get in, even if it fumbles, even if it's towards the bottom half of the 10. It's gotta get in. It's just too good to not. The Nickel Boys, still super excited. This was my number one last month, but the feedback I've been hearing is it's a very artsy type of film, which is to say it's pretentious as fuck. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing it, but from what I hear, this is a movie shot all in point of view, POV, so you're always seeing it through somebody's eyes, and that sounds interesting. It sounds interesting. I mean, look at last year with The Zone of Interest, where they tried to do something unique and it paid off. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing this one, but as of right now, I think this is going to be more of a critic's darling than anything else. Dune, of course, you gotta include Dune in here. It's getting in. It's a done deal. Conclave premiered, and I was kind of disappointed by what I was hearing at first. Not a lot of people were really raving about it. Even like the performances that I was like, oh, that could be good with Isabel Rossellini. People are like, oh, she's in it for like 2 minutes, and it's a good 2 minutes, but it's not good enough. Stanley Tucci might not even get in. So it started off kind of weak, and then as the festivities kept going on, more and more people were starting to rave about it. So I went from being disappointed to, oh, okay, like, this is a serious contender then. So I'm very excited to see it. I hope Ray Fiennes gets in, because he needs some Oscar love. It's been quite a while. Amelia Perez, number 2 or 3rd place? It's Anora and Amelia Perez, and then number 1 was Life of Chuck. But what I mean is, these are the ones that got all the awards. It's a very energetic movie. There's singing, there's dancing. I hear people who say I had a really good time with it. Not everybody loved it. It's not like a masterpiece by any means, from what I understand, but anybody who sees it is very infatuated with it to a point, or maybe it's just the Selena Gomez fans going crazy and really championing it. Whatever the case, I'm still super excited for it, and I do think could be your international pick for the year. I just I haven't heard about any other international pick that could potentially squeeze into Best Picture, so that's kind of what I got there. A Complete Unknown. Now this one we don't know anything about just yet in terms of the reactions for it. I am compelled to put it in just because I thought the trailer was really good, and I think we still have a surprise left. I always say it would be so disheartening for the festivities to come out at this point in time, and then we're done. Just no more surprises. These are the players. There's nothing else that's coming. Even if it ends up being disappointing, at least we have something more to look forward to. So that's why I still have A Complete Unknown on here. I do think it has the potential to blow us away, maybe be a stronger contender than what we think it could be right now. Number 9 is Saturday Night. I'm kind of on the cusp on this one. Very similar to the Chuck movie. I feel this could fall off. Maybe it's not a Best Picture contender. I've been hearing some kind of mixed reactions for it. The people that really like it really seem to like it, but it isn't winning over everyone. So right now, I could potentially see it get into Best Picture, or I could see it kind of fall off, but still maybe getting to like the screenplay category. I don't think it's going to get a lot of nominations. I just don't think it's that type of film. But I do think it has if it gets into Best Picture, I think it has a solid like 2, maybe 3 nominations in store if people really push on it. So that's what I have. Again, breaking my own rules, 10 would be Life of Chuck for those of you who are like fascinated with that type of like statistics. So there's that. But if I were to pick, what number 10 spot would I pick on here? Well, I would actually go Wicked. Now, I know you hear that and you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I've not seen Wicked. I've not seen the play. I know vaguely what this story is about. It's just one of those phenomena that came and went and I just was never really a part of. So because of that, seeing the trailer and seeing the potential for what it could be has me somewhat excited. And honestly, I feel like this is a year that's turning into like a renaissance of musicals. There's just so many movies that people are like hyping up, especially in the Oscars, that have singing and dancing. And so why not include another one in the mix with Wicked? It is a part 1 of 2, so maybe that will hurt it, but you don't know. Dune got in just fine. So there is the potential that it could still get in, but you know, it could also crash and burn. I don't know. That's what makes it exciting. But there's a lot. There is a lot that I could continuously talk about. I don't want to make this video incredibly long like that last one. This is just my initial thoughts, just coming out of the festival, what I'm still excited for, what I would like to see. And that's all I got for Best Picture for right now. Director's tough. Director's tough. I've left out so many people that I feel could very much get in. I don't have an international director in, which, statistically speaking, the director is the one that gets the international pick more than the Best Picture one does. Go check it out. So I'm not feeling very confident here, but the people who I've included, I can't leave out either, just because I feel it could very well be possible. I feel Denis Villeneuve. I think really he has a really good shot at it, because a lot of the directors that are going to be coming in are new directors, or they've only had 1 or 2 nominations in the past. So I do think Denis has a narrative behind it. So I don't think Dune would go on to win Best Picture, but I'd be completely cool with Denis winning for director. That'd be awesome. So is there going to be enough of a push? I don't know. Part of me says no, that's not going to happen. We're probably going to get a brand new director taking home the win this year. But I don't know. It's a mess. It's a mess. Brady Corbet for The Brutalist, of course. If that's gonna go on to win Best Picture or at least be a very strong contender, I got to include him as well. Sean Baker for Nora. It seems like he's having that year, so yeah, you gotta include him. Ramel Ross probably is the one that I'm taking the biggest risk on, but he's creating something unique. You're definitely going to be paying attention to the filmmaking style. Critics are gonna fucking love it. So maybe that's enough to get him in, just because it is an achievement in directing. So right, it's a possibility, but there's just so many other people that could get in, and that's not even including my surprise pick, which I'm not 100% confident in, but it would be so awesome, and that would be Jason Reitman for Saturday Night. Now, I fucking loved this guy's like early works. You got Juno, you got Up in the Air, which I love. Up in the Air, dude. That's like hands down one of my favorite films of that decade. It's fantastic. But he's had like one great film after another, and then he like falls off the face of the earth. Like, don't get me wrong, he's still making movies, but they're just not hitting like they were back then. So I think it'd be awesome for Saturday Night to finally get out to the public. Everybody just goes crazy for it, enough to push him in to director for that movie in so many other categories. That would be like a dream come true. But it's way too stacked of a category this year. This is one of the hardest years for directors to get in. So this really is just a fantasy of mine. It's not going to happen. I'm not even going to pretend, but man, wouldn't it be awesome to see him as part of the lineup? That would be fucking cool. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. This could swing in so many ways. My Best Actress predictions really haven't changed much. I've just swapped some things around. Number one thing I've heard out of the festivals is that Carla Gascon for Emilia Perez is amazing. Like, even the people that didn't love that film have said she's really good. I mean, I even heard negative things about Selena Gomez, which is crazy considering her fan base, but even those people couldn't bring themselves to talk negatively about Carla. So I do think she's in, and I do think she has a very strong chance of getting it. You have Mikey Madison for Anora. Everyone who's seen that film has been singing her praise, so I think she's just going to be coming along with the package. She's that good. She could potentially win. And those are the two that I'm feeling the strongest about as of right now. Angelina Jolie has dipped down quite a bit just because Maria really hasn't been liked all that much. It is getting mixed reviews, some bad ones, but even amongst the bad ones, they do have to admit that Angelina does give a really good performance to the point that she's most likely still going to get nominated, but winning, it's now up in the air. And honestly, I think as the year goes by, maybe we get enough other strong performances that because Maria's just not that strong overall, she could get bumped off. I do think it still has the potential to get a couple of other nominations like costumes, but again, this is actually proving to be a stronger year than I originally thought, so I'm eating my words there, but I like it. I like surprises, so yes, more competition, awesome. Julianne Moore for The Room Next Door. Everyone who's seen that has said that this is a film that has the powerhouse performance of Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton. Now, as my luck would be, right before I started filming, I did read that they are both campaigning Julianne and Tilda in lead. I don't think they're both going to get in for lead. I think if they're both campaign for lead and they have to pick one or the other, they're going to go Tilda. People are kind of slightly more leaning towards Tilda as being the better performance, though they have said both are really good. I also think there's the possibility of the Academy going, fuck that, Julianne, your lead, Tilda, you're supporting. We don't care what you want. I always think of like Lakeith Stanfield for Judas and the Black Messiah, where he was obviously the lead and they said, nah, fuck off, you're in supporting for whatever goddamn reason, I don't know. Could that happen? Sure. I don't know if it will. I'm going to leave it as such for now, just because I gotta rethink how I'm gonna do these two categories. But for now, Julianne Moore's in. I don't think we're going to get both of them into the lead, unfortunately. I think those days are long gone. I think the last time that happened was Thelma and Louise, I believe. You also had Amadeus before that, so yeah, it's been some time. I just don't think that's gonna change anytime soon. That's what I got there. Greetings, everybody. Future Jan Michael here. So the editing for this video is taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, to the point that I've actually managed to gather my thoughts on the supporting and the lead actress categories. And so I'm here to share my thoughts with you since I'm still in the middle of editing it. So for lead actress, I'm actually doing a couple of things. First and foremost, I'm moving Mikey up to number 1 and dropping Carla down to number 2. The reason for it being that the more reviews I read of the respective films, the more people are really hyping up Mikey, saying that she has a serious shot at winning. And while everybody does like Carla, it's not the same level of enthusiasm as with Mikey. So I'm going to be swapping the two. I do still have the same thoughts about Angelina. If Maria just continues to not impress, maybe we get a surprise and she just doesn't make it, though. I mean, even the people that don't like that film do still acknowledge that she's great, she's going to get in, so I'm still comfortable leaving her in there. Now we know, as I just mentioned, that we have Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton both campaigning for lead actress. And with the two of them there, everyone's saying Tilda's going to get in because she is the better performance. They're both really good, but Tilda is the better performance. So I'm going to take Julianne Moore out. I'm going to put Tilda Swinton in instead. And that's what I have for you. When we get to supporting actress, I'll be back. But for now, back to you, past Jan Michael, you dumbass. Now, who would be my surprise pick? Well, I would put Willa Fitzgerald for Strange Darling on here. Did you guys see Strange Darling? I felt it went under the radar. A lot of people ended up missing it, I think. But goddamn, does she give a fantastic performance there. I'm honestly still thinking about those final shots. You're just kind of mesmerized on the screen watching her. And I think, as is the case every year, there is that horror performance that just completely gets snubbed. And I think it could very well be her this year. And some people are also talking about Demi Moore for The Substance. It gives a great performance. Probably not going to get into the Oscars. So we could have two this year. But definitely go check out Strange Darling, excuse me, if you have not seen it. It's very much well worth your time. We just gotta shake up with actor, I believe anyway, because we got some very exciting announcements. First and foremost, Adrian Brody for The Brutalist. People are saying he is on another level here. Has definitely given the performance of the year. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to seeing exactly what he's able to do. And now I'm very much thinking he could win the Oscar. Just so many people were completely impressed with what he was able to do. Even the ones that probably went in thinking, yeah, it'll be just good, I think came away going, whoa, well, this is definitely a best actor win performance. So yeah, totally very excited for seeing that one. I do think Coleman Domingo is still in, as long as Sing doesn't get the shaft, gets buried. I really hope that doesn't happen. He is very much worthy to get the nomination. I do think if taking Adrian out of the equation, I do think he could go on to win. Obviously, I have to see Adrian's performance, but I do think Coleman gives a really good performance and could very well be in the winning conversation, but who knows, Adrian might have just kicked him off the cliff as of right now. Ralph Fiennes, Conclave, he's in. People have said that he gives a fantastic performance. He has a couple of really good standout moments. I don't think he's going to go on to win. I think this is going to be actually a very competitive year for actor. And again, not to repeat myself, but Adrian seems to have won over everybody. So there's that for you. And then The Apprentice. Yes, The Apprentice is actually coming out this year. And I don't know what to think about it. I've heard some people say that if The Apprentice does come out, it's going to get a whole bunch of nominations, including Best Picture, so on and so forth. I just don't know where I'm going to be squeezing this into. The one place I felt the strongest was for Sebastian Stan. So maybe it's not an Oscar darling, but it could still get Oscar nominations. This is really the only one that I felt somewhat confident in. But you let me know if you've seen the film. Could it squeeze into other categories? Could get Best Picture? I'm telling you, this year is turned into quite something for films, and I'm down for it. Now, who would I pick as my surprise entry? That would be Glenn Powell for Hitman. I talked about Hitman last month. It's just one of those fun films that if you just want to have a good time watching a film, you don't want to like overthink, you just want to relax, laugh, have a good time, this is the film to do so. But looking a little bit deeper, Glenn does a fucking amazing job with this character. He's actually changing up his personality to fit into the role of the film, if you will. And goddamn, like, you see his acting chops on display. Yes, it is done for comedic effect, so you could maybe take away points there. It's not like he's ever being truly serious in any of these roles. They're always for comedy. But it's a range of comedy. That is acting. Stop being so bigoted towards comedic actors. So, again, I don't think it's going to happen, especially with how strong a year it's going to be. But I would love to see him in the lineup. I think he would round it up just nicely. But yeah, what do you guys think? Supporting actress is another one that I think has had quite a bit of a shakeup. And so I've moved some things around, added new people in there, and at my number one right now is Danielle Deadwyler for The Piano Lesson. Not that The Piano Lesson's been doing amazing, I do hear it's kind of a mess, but even the people that disliked it have said Danielle is freaking amazing and definitely deserves an Oscar nomination. I've also heard that before with her previous performance in Till. So are we going to see a repeat of that? God, I hope not. We need justice for Danielle. I'm gonna say it every single fucking video. We need justice for Danielle. If this is another amazing performance, you do right by her. Fucking vote for her. Anyway, Zoe Saldana. I hear she is definitely gonna be getting into Emilia Perez. And I mean, I thought she was going to be lead, but a lot of people are like, well, she's not in it through the whole thing. So even though she is technically lead, it really doesn't fully follow her. So I don't know what that means. But okay, I think if she's in supporting, I think there is a better shot of her getting in. So yeah, why not? I'm down for it. Lady Gaga, I do still think has the potential to get in for Joker. Now, Joker, not been getting the greatest reviews, which, come on, the first one didn't get that great of a reviews either. Though, I do have to admit, they haven't been as passionate, the people who've loved it, like they loved the first one. So, maybe that's enough to knock Joker off of a lot of other categories. As you can see, it's definitely not in a lot of places for me anymore. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And then, yes, I do have Tilda Swinton here for The Room Next Door. As I mentioned with the actress, I just found out that they're both being campaigned for lead. I do still think the Oscar has the chance to do that fuckery and push her into supporting, even though she's obviously the co-lead there. So we'll see. I probably will change this by next month. Just for the time being, this is where I have her.
Hey, future Jan Michael here once again, talking about supporting actress now. So, as I mentioned, Tilda Swinton is not going to be in lead, so that's where I'm placing her. So I need somebody to put in supporting. Not making any big changes. Everybody else is still singing the exact same spot that they're in. But for supporting, I'm actually going to be putting Felicity Jones at number 4. Technically, she is my number 5, taking the surprise pick out. So she was in it. Technically, you're just not going to see that in the videos. But now I'm feeling more comfortable pushing her up to number 4. And yeah, that's what I got. Now, nothing too big here. That's just kind of what I'm feeling. But I wanted to give you those updates. So yeah, that's all I got. So back to past Jan Michael and the rest of his shenanigans.
Now, who would be an awesome surprise pick? Well, yeah, I'm gonna break my own rule here again, but I do have Blitz. I do have Saoirse Ronan for Blitz. And here's the thing. Saoirse Ronan's my girl, man. I've been telling this for years. I do think she could potentially be the next Meryl Streep, if not already. Like, I think she has a variety of range. She's had so many Oscar nominations. I could see her at the age Meryl is right now and have just a whole mess of Oscar nominations. I see that trajectory for her. And I hope that Blitz does show more range for her and get her into the Oscars. I'm not 100% convinced with Blitz. I've talked about this before. There are a couple of other people that are convinced. I don't know yet. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong again. This has been a year of surprises. So if Blitz comes out, blows everybody away, I will gladly eat those words and be very happy that she gets into the Oscar talk. So that's what I got for you right now. For now, though, it is shaping up to be another exciting category. Samuel L. Jackson is out for the piano lesson, which is a shame because everyone thought he was finally gonna get his Oscar. And I gotta admit, maybe he's just gonna be one of those amazing actors that never gets an Oscar. I really hope not. That would be so disheartening to think about. But I don't know, it just hasn't had the best luck. I mean, even when he gives amazing performances and is worthy of getting in, he doesn't get in. But yeah, too many people said he doesn't have enough to do, and it's a very underwhelming performance here. So, well, unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But it does open it up a little bit more. I do think now Clarence Macklin has a better claim to it. I do think he gives an amazing performance, and there is enough positivity behind it because just about every single other person on here does have something working against them. Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, while he is very good, there are those people that weren't as impressed, not necessarily by his performance, but just by the character in general. So maybe that's enough to kind of, tip him off to the win and give Clarence it instead. Kieran Culkin, I do hear is really good, but maybe not that sort of performance that goes on to win. I think the nomination itself is the win in this regard. And A Real Pain, really, this might be its only nomination if it doesn't also get into writing. Stanley Tucci's kind of in the same boat as Guy. I mean, I hear he's really good. Some people really like him, but there's also some people who have been underwhelmed by him. But I would really like to see him get in, at least for a performance that he's proud of. I mentioned this last video, but his only nomination is for a role he really just isn't impressed with. And that's always kind of disheartening to be awarded for something that you're not too proud of yourself. So it would be awesome to see him finally get in for something that he is proud of. Now, who would be my surprise pick? Well, I would have to put Brian Tyree Henry for The Fire Inside. Fire Inside, I hear, is good. It's nothing that is groundbreaking or amazing, but it's a solid film. But the number one thing most people are talking about is Brian and how awesome he is as the coach. Could we see another situation like that other film, which the name is escaping me right now, but he was like the one standout thing from that film, and he got into the Oscars, so maybe we see a similar trajectory here for him as well. So yeah, I would love to see that happen. I don't know if it will, but I think this is a possibility. I can't say it's completely out of the realm of possibility, but yeah, I'll cross my fingers. I'll keep my fingers crossed. Moving on to the screenplay nominations, we're going to start off with original screenplay, and I do still think Anora's at number one here. Even if The Brutalist goes on to win Best Picture, and in fact, if The Brutalist goes on to win Best Picture, I can see people wanting to award Anora with something, and yeah, screenplay just seems like a surefire bet here, especially because there's just so much energy behind it. I don't think The Brutalist has that same energy, even though it's a very strong film. It's a completely different type of movie. So sometimes they want to award the more fun picture, the screenplay one. So that's what I got for you. Number three, Amelia Perez. Again, another fun film. A lot of people seem to have a lot of energy behind it. Definitely not as much as Anora from what I feel, but enough to get into the screenplay category. Saturday Night, if it doesn't get into Best Picture, I still can see it sneak into the writing, and yeah, maybe that's where it stops. Maybe it is just a low nomination for that film, and I think that would be fine, but yeah, I would really like to see that film be more than just writing. For my surprise pick, I'm actually going to do one that I did for Best Picture last year, and that is Dee Dee. I really liked this film. I really connected with it a lot, so I would like to see it honored in some way or form. I think its best chance is with screenplay, but I think that movie's already been forgotten about. There's just too much that is coming out soon that has already come out, and it's completely eclipsed Dee Dee. So it's a shame, but it would be cool to see it get a surprise nomination here. Moving on to adapted, The Nickel Boys. I do still think that it has the potential to win here for the adapted screenplay. Again, this is no longer about the technique of the film, it's about the writing. And from what I understand, the writing is very, very good in the film. So yeah, I do still think it has a shot at going home with an Oscar here. Sing Sing, of course, that is if that ends up being a huge Oscar contender and doesn't get buried, that could go on to win. Conclave, I hear there's a lot of really great speeches in that one, so I think that one is a very good shot of winning. Dune Part 2 will get in. I don't think it's going to go on to win, so right now I do think it is a fight between the top three. Maybe even 2 and 3 if the Nickel Boys doesn't pan out, but there's a fight here. I don't think it's a done deal yet. And then for my surprise pick, this one may seem kind of out of left field, but I put The 688 on here. This is Tyler Perry's new film. Now, from what I understand, this seems like an Oscar baity film, so maybe one of those things that come out and just crashes and burns. And if I'm being honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Tyler Perry. I do think he has some good ones, but I think there's more misses than not. But you know what? If he's trying to go for an Oscar and he succeeds at least getting close, why not give him a writing category nomination? Like, why not, right? So I'm gonna be keeping an eye out for this one. I'm just definitely not feeling too confident in it as of right now. Okay, and now we're gonna talk about the below the line category ones. I will move a little bit faster so as not to bore you all. Film editing. The Brutalist, I have it winning Best Picture. Gonna have it here winning for film editing. Sing Sing, Dune Part 2. Really, Dune's gonna get into a ton of the technical aspects of it, as is The Brutalist. You're going to see that in a minute. Amelia Perez I threw on here just because there is a lot of singing and dancing, so I think the editing has to be very quick and sharp. This is another one that I feel, if The Life of Chuck gets in, maybe sneaks in here just because I hear there's a really good dance number right in the middle of it, so you never know. Maybe the camera work is impressive enough to sneak it in here as well. For my surprise pick here, I would put The Nickel Boys. I think it could get in, but especially because it's all POV now, maybe that's really going to detract people from giving an editing award. And yeah, I can see that happening, but I hope not. I hope that it is very impressive in its technique, and the editing has to flow smoothly, especially with what it's trying to do. Cinematography, Dune Part 2. On top of it getting a lot of technical nominations, I do think Dune Part 2 is going to win a lot of technical awards. In fact, probably the one that's going to go home with the most awards. So this one I do think is in the bag as of right now anyway. But I do think The Brutalist is going to be there. I think A Complete Unknown. And surprise little pick here, The Girl with the Needle. It is black and white from what I see. And this branch isn't afraid to just do lone nominations. I think of last year with that, what was that movie? The vampire one that's all black and white. And that was like its lone nomination. So you just don't know. It's very much a possibility here. And that's why I'm throwing it in there. My surprise pick here is Nosferatu. It's a horror film, so obviously the Oscars aren't going to be paying too much attention for it, but it's Robert Eggers, and I don't think he's made a bad film yet. So maybe this is the one that just impresses enough to get in. I think it's going to have a lot of really great shots, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing it, and I hope it breaks into the Oscars in at least 1 or 2 categories. You guys still with me? Are my sultry tones putting you to sleep? Well, let's just keep moving on then, shall we? Costume design. Wicked, I think this is the one that definitely has it in the bag as of right now, unless, again, that film crashes and burns. I think there's going to be a ton of great costumes in it. It's just that type of film. Joker, I do think, is still going to get in here. Costumes, especially with Lady Gaga involved now, I think is going to be a huge factor for the film and definitely sneaking in here. Dune Part 2, just going to get in, of course. Maria, if it just continues to not impress, I can see it completely fall off. But if it does get in, I think costumes is another safe bet for it to get into. For my surprise pick, this one's just for fun. What if we put hundreds of beavers in here for all the beaver costumes? It's silly, it's stupid, I agree, but come on, wouldn't that be fun to see? You gotta have fun with this. You just gotta, otherwise it's like a snooze fest. Makeup and hairstyling, The Substance. Now, this really is me stealing from other YouTubers because a lot of people have pivoted to saying The Substance is most definitely going to win, and they've convinced me. So if they're all impressed with it, if everybody's being unanimous on it, I feel like I got to. So I've not seen the movie yet. It's literally just about to come out as of the time of this recording. So maybe I'll be 100% on board after I see it. But for now, this is just kind of me stealing from other people. So yeah, call me a pirate, why don't ya? Joker, I always thought the makeup in that film was very important, not just to the movie as a whole, but to the story. So I'm hoping that continues here. Dune, obviously, again, this is going to get this as well. A Different Man would be awesome to see it get in. It's not just makeup, it's the prosthetics, and it's very, very impressive. So definitely would love to see that one in. For my surprise pick, I would put Sasquatch Sunset. I mean, just look at the full-blown like makeup on display. I don't think those are costumes. I think that's actual makeup on there. Hundreds of hours have got to have been put just in the makeup alone. That's goddamn impressive. So would it be awesome to see this get in? Yeah, but I think it's such a weird film that maybe the Oscars just don't give it the time of day. Maybe it'll get shortlisted, but I think that's as far as it really goes there. Production design, Dune. I think this is another one it definitely has in the bag here. Joker, the first one got nominated for production, so I just can see it coming along with it. A Wicked, that's just the type of film that gets into production. The Brutalist, especially because it's about brutalist architecture. This is the guy that invented that brutalist architecture, so yeah, why wouldn't a movie about architecture get into production design? It just makes sense. And then for my surprise pick, I would put Late Night with the Devil. Yes, it's not super impressive, but I like that whole 80s kind of vibe. It's very convincing. I like seeing the sets. I like seeing the audience. It gave off the feel that it wanted to, which I always think is impressive. But again, it's a horror film, it's definitely not going to get in, and I don't think it does enough to really warrant a nomination. I just think it would be cool to see in the lineup. So for animated feature film, everybody has jumped on board the Wild Robot. And I gotta eat my words because last month I said I saw that new trailer and it just wasn't all that impressive. It was very underwhelming, and I still hold true to that, but everybody seems to think that this is the one that's going to win animated feature film. Maybe once I see it, I will also be convinced, but I've also heard of a lot of people go like, yeah, it's good. It's not amazing, but it's gonna win animated feature film. Like, there's just something that is stopping people from saying it is 100% a masterpiece. It's like it's stopping short of that, and that's kind of what's making me think we've got another one. We've got another animated film that could potentially come in and steal the win. And for me, I'm gonna keep the Lord of the Rings one on here. I've heard some people say it's not even gonna get in because it's very anime-ish, and the Oscars anime, it's not always a good blend. But hey, last year we got Miyazaki's film, The Boy and the Heron went on to win, so maybe we've seen a shift. Maybe there is a shift. You don't know. So yes, it's blindly doing so, but I'm putting my chips on the Lord of the Rings one right now. I am very much looking forward to it. And goddamn, just look at the animation on it. It's fucking impressive. Flow, a lot of people are very convinced this is going to get in, and to be honest, it looks really cute. So yeah, I'm kind of on board with it. I also threw Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, that is going to be coming out this year, and these type of films just always get in, minus the Chicken Run one, but I mean, the one out of how many? Yeah, I think we're safe with Wallace and Gromit. And yeah, you guys are probably going, what the fuck, where's Inside Out 2, Jan? What the fuck are you doing? Come on. Whoa, hold on now. So, no denying Inside Out 2 was a good film. Like, I can't say it's a bad film, but it was an underwhelming one. It is nowhere near as good as the first one in many, many people's eyes. And I think because that, maybe it falls off. Now, best argument against that is that it's fucking the highest grossing film of the year. So people have definitely gone to see it, probably multiple times. So yeah, maybe it's just not enough to dismiss it, but I think we've definitely got competition here. And out of everything that people have talked about, Inside Out 2 just seems like the weakest one. But who knows? Maybe Lord of the Rings doesn't get in. Maybe Inside Out 2 gets in instead. Or maybe Flow doesn't get in Inside Out 2. Or Wallace and Gromit. You could really play Tetris with any of this. I don't have Moana 2 in here. The first one got in. It's very much beloved. So am I crazy to think that Moana 2 isn't going to get in? I don't know. It's very competitive in terms of animation this year. And again, I'm all for it. What is my surprise pick? Well, I'm actually going to go with Transformers 1. And this is just because of that amazing early buzz on it. I mean, I was prepared for just either a mediocre middle of the line film or maybe even something that wasn't that impressive, but the early buzz on it has been very eyebrow raising. You see these eyebrows? Like, that's me looking at the early reviews going, what? So now I'm excited for it. So yeah, I'll definitely be checking it out, and whether it's another one that I have to think about maybe getting in or not, we will see soon enough, but that's what I got for you. For animated shorts, I won't go too deep into what each one is about just because I do think it took up a lot of time in my previous video and made that one almost an hour long. So I would definitely say just go out, check out the ones that I'm predicting. A lot of these, if not all of them, have won awards already and have had Oscar qualifying runs. So definitely go check them out if you're interested in doing shorts predictions or if you want to give their dues to these shorts categories. I mean, come on, the part of the Oscars, they want to be recognized as well, and you may find something you're very interested in. But number one, I put The Car That Came Back from the Sea. This one did just win a Shorts Fest. I believe this is the one that did get an Oscar qualifying run. This doesn't mean it's gonna get an Oscar nomination, just that it will be considered for the Oscars. Beautiful Men also won an award, so I'm very confident in it. I'm very glad this is actually the one I had at number one last month, and I do think it is a very strong contender to get a nomination here. Percabus is in, Wander to Wander. These are, again, two films that have won awards festivals in the past. My surprise pick this time is S in the little brackets. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. It has some weird way of pronunciation. But man, looking at the trailer here, it's kind of trippy. It's like just the way things move. You see like hand spinning a wheel. It's weird enough that I don't think the Academy is really going to pay attention to it, even though this is another one that has won an award. So that's why this is my surprise pick. Honestly, it's kind of mesmerizing to see just the trailer and the movement of everything. So I definitely say go check out that trailer just because it's quite something to behold. Let's move on to the documentary feature films. I have No Other Land still at number one. This just seems like the type of film that's probably going to go on to win, but even if it doesn't, it's most definitely at least going to get a nomination. A lot of people seem to really like it. It's talking about an important subject, so yes, I do think it's at least getting a nomination. Sugarcane still on here. Daughters is still on here. You can go see Daughters right now on Netflix. It's making people cry just like I said it would last month, so go do that. Number four, I did take out the Will Ferrell movie. It's been getting really good reviews, but again, it just seems like it's the type of movie that this documentary curse is gonna devour. So I had to remove it, but the curse is an ever-growing monster. Who knows? Maybe it'll start attacking things that we don't anticipate it to attack, so we just gotta be on our toes here. For my surprise pick, I put Ibelin, if that's how you pronounce it. You guys know me, I'm a huge gamer. I love to see video game representation at the Oscars. This is a story about this kid, if you will, who was immobile. He wasn't able to move anymore, and so escaped through World of Warcraft, made a lot of friends, basically had a life in the game, and the movie is basically a documentary about how he was memorialized in there, all the friendships that he had, and a lot of people who have gone to see the film have been very touched by it and have said it's fantastic. Just looking at the trailer, I see that they've kind of animated the game segments to be kind of like almost an animated film, and it kind of looks cheesy. So I think if anybody sees that, they may kind of dismiss the film or not even give it a chance, and thus hurt its chances of getting in, and that's a shame, but that's just kind of that's the road that I see for it, and I really hope it doesn't, but that's what I got for you. Now, for documentary short film, I've not changed a single thing. And no, not because I didn't research. What do you think I am? But because I actually felt so confident in all of these, and some of these had even gone on to win awards, that I didn't want to change anything. So these are literally in the exact same order as last month. That is how confident I am in them. So take that. For my surprise pick this time, I had put Jumpman on here, which is about the photographer that takes the iconic picture of Michael Jordan, slam dunking that ball. That's the logo that starts getting on the shoes, and just kind of the history of that. Feels like the type of film that would get into the shorts category, but we've also had a really good sports documentary short last year that I was 100% convinced was gonna get nominated and go on to win, and it didn't even get nominated, which is fucking crazy. So that's why this is my surprise pick. I'm just not feeling that confident in it right now, but it's a possibility. So international feature film, Emilia Perez from France. Yeah, France. Good job. You learned your lesson from last year. I mean, yeah, I think we've got a done deal now. I mean, the biggest surprise is if it doesn't get in, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it will. The Seed of the Sacred Fig, Germany submitted it, so I definitely think that's going to be getting in. I don't think it's going to go on to win. I do think I do hear, I believe, it's underwhelming. Not bad, just underwhelming. So it'll get in. I just don't think it'll win. Parthenope, I can always mispronounce it, from Italy. Italy hasn't submitted it yet. Italy hasn't submitted anything yet, but I think this is the safe bet of what its submission is gonna be, and when it does, I do think it's gonna get in, so I'm gonna throw on there.
This is the problem with editing taking so long. Fucking updates happen and ruin everything. So as you just know, I have to eat my own words. Italy did not fucking submit Parthenope, or however the fuck you pronounce that film. They did Vermugia. I don't know how to pronounce that one either. I'm kind of in a bind here, but since I'm already on my thoughts, I guess I'll just put I'm Still Here from Brazil. I've been hearing really good things about it. I've been hearing good things about the performances in there as well. So yeah, that's just kind of what I'm feeling right now. I do need to kind of now brush up on some of the other international submissions, just because I had my set thought on those, but now that things are kind of shifting, and the history always shows that the ones that we always think are going to get in don't always get in. So I'll probably do a little bit more research and change things up by next month. But for now, that's just kind of what I have. I didn't want to leave it as is and look like a complete and total idiot. So there's what you got. So hopefully I'm not back anymore. And yeah, back to past Jan Michael.
I put Kneecap from Ireland. I just saw this one. It's a very cute movie. I would really like to see it in the lineup, and I think it has a chance. I think the people who have gone to see it have really enjoyed it. So there's that for you. My surprise pick this time is actually Flow from Latvia. This obviously is in my animated feature film category. They've also submitted it for international. It's not gonna get in. It's animated international. And I think that's just a barrier that is very hard to get by. So I would love to see it, especially if it ends up being as cute as it looks. But yeah, I just don't think it's very likely. Moving on to score, I feel a little bit better about it this month than I did last month, where I had no clue. But I do still think Dune has a really good shot at it, but I do think it has some competition. The Brutalist, I hear, has a really good score. Conclave, I hear, has a really good score. And with Queer now out, at least I truly do think it's out. I think the only nomination it could potentially still get is for Daniel Craig and nothing else. And that is in serious question right now. I think now people are going to pivot back to challengers. It could get into a couple of categories now. And I think one of the ones that most definitely has the best shot at is the score. That score is goddamn excellent in that film. So we'll see if that happens. I think this was actually my surprise pick last month, but now because of how everything is shifted, I've actually put it in the lineup. So there you go. For my surprise pick, I'm actually going with the Lord of the Rings film here. And the reason for it is because, again, with anime type films, sometimes you have like just these grand bombastic scores or beautiful scores, just a mixture of all these great things. I think of like The Boy and the Heron from last year, and I would love to see that happen with The Lord of the Rings. I don't know if it will. Maybe it does have this great score, but just doesn't stack up to the others. Animated films don't always get into scores, though I do think it's a category that they can get into a little bit easier than others. So there's that for you. That's kind of my surprise pick and what I really would like to see. For song, still not 100% sure about everything, but I did put The Journey from 688. Again, going back to Tyler Perry, this is Diane Warren. Last month I had her song for her documentary, but her documentary really isn't being talked about all that much. There's not a lot of eyes on it, so I think this just might be a case where the more bigger film, if you will, is the one where her nomination is going to come from. But I mean, I do think she's going to get nominated. She gets nominated every single goddamn year. So Piece by Piece from the movie Piece by Piece, I think that just is a done deal almost. His songs just are very catchy and poppy, and I think the movie's unique enough that people's eyes will be on it and want to hear the song because of it. Mi Camino from Emilia Perez. I hear Emilia Perez actually has a couple of really good songs. I don't know if this is the most popular one. I believe so from what I've seen of other predictions, so that's why not it's on here, but who knows? Maybe Emilia Perez gets double nominated in this category. Also have Like a Bird from Sing Sing. This just seems like that Oscar song that gets in every single year, though in recent years hasn't always been the case, so who knows. It's a fine song. I don't think it's anything amazing, but it's a fine song. For my surprise pick, I have the Ain't No Love in Oklahoma from Twisters. I don't think this is gonna happen. Some people are predicting it, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't hate the song. It's kind of that country, the kind of cheery country type of song that like just has like that funny title to it. It's entertaining enough. I would not be angry if it got in. I don't think it's going to. So there's that for you. A Sound, Dune Part 2, again, done deal. I think this is definitely going to be happening. Emilia Perez, some musicals, of course, you got to have really good sound in it. A Complete Unknown, I think that's going to have really good sound. The Brutalist, I hear, also has a really good sound to it as well. So I don't think this one is a done deal for it, but I think it's very much a possibility there. For my surprise pick, I have A Quiet Place Day One. The very first Quiet Place got into sound, so wouldn't it be cool to see that again? Though granted, this one does have plenty of sound, so maybe not, but there is a contrast now between it being loud and it not being loud. So maybe that accentuates the moments of real quietness a bit more so. Who knows? We'll see. Probably not. I wouldn't even really consider it. I just thought it'd be cool to see in the lineup. Last two categories, let's wrap things up here. Live action short film. Again, not going to go into the specifics of them. Definitely go check these out though. A lot of these that I've included have won awards, so they are very strong possibilities. Number one, I have Amplified. Number two, Anuja. Those are your two newest ones. Do still have Lola on here, and I have Saving Superman on here. I think those two could potentially still get in. Still researching it. There's still plenty of time. Obviously, with the awards coming out, we're going to get a lot more of these films in the spotlight. So we'll see how things shift. For my surprise pick, I have Deep Dish, and you see the picture, right? I've included the picture here. I gotta read the synopsis to it because I read the synopsis with that picture and I just started laughing. Synopsis: AJ's massage could have been better. Come on. This is stoic face, and like that's the caption. Like how can you not laugh at that? And that's why it's most likely not going to be getting in. So that's my surprise pick. Looking forward to seeing it now, though. Visual effects. Again, this is one that I have not changed a single thing on here. I mean, Dune's taking it. We're done there. But yeah, I think everything else is just kind of done. I really don't see what else could really knock one of these films out. For my surprise pick, I put here, and it's not really a surprise. I think it is very much a possibility to get in, but I'm not looking too forward to that film, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, going out on a whimper with that last surprise pick, I guess. And those are my updated Oscar predictions. What do you guys think? Am I leaving out too many films? Do you guys think Juror number 2 is going to blow up? Do you think The Apprentice is going to get more nominations? Do you think The Life of Chuck is definitely going to get into Best Picture along with everything else? There is a lot that we can be discussing. Again, I don't want to make this video like an hour long like the last one, so I'm trying to rush things a little bit more here, but yeah, there's just a lot. I'm very excited. I think we're finally starting to get into the Oscar season. October is usually, to me, the start of the Oscar season. That's really when people start getting serious. People that don't do predictions start to do predictions. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm just coming down from the high of the awards festivals, really taking in all of the info, and things will definitely be a lot more coherent by next month. So forgive me for kind of rambling at points. But yeah, that's the beauty of the films, and especially in a year where there's just so many surprises, some disappointment, but definitely more surprises. It's shaping up to be a very, very interesting year. I cannot wait to see what else comes out, and I hope we have many more surprises. So guys, until the next video, like always, please stay safe out there and have a good one.